Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Very good morning to all of you. Yes, am I audible to all of you? Yes, am I audible to all of you? Hello Preeti. Yes. Good. Yes. Satyajit Patra. Yes, very good morning to all of you. Okay. So those who are new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Harshvardhan Singh, and on this platform I'm going to take economics, international relation, and all the aspects of its history, including optional history. Those who haven't taken subscription yet, please have a subscription of Unacademy. It is really beneficial for you. We have all the choices, that is 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. I insist you to have a 12-month subscription so that you will get the maximum benefits of it. And we have two choices in that, plus and iconic. So always go for iconic, because here we are going to provide everything, including live classes, test series, unlimited practice set, including personal feedback. Okay. Now today we are going to discuss the another aspect of bilateral relation. Yesterday we mentioned about the Indo-China. We mentioned just a background of Indo-China relation. We are going to take one more lecture for Indo-China. This is the same thing. This is the one aspect of Indo-Nepal. In next lecture, we are going to take the another aspect of Indo-Nepal. So, in the last lecture, we mentioned about the Indo-China relation, and in that we mentioned about the historical thing. So, for example, how in 1949 that India was the first country to recognize People Republic of China. How the relation gets worsened, we mentioned in that. So one of the reason was basically related to the Tibet, clear, the border disputes and all. We mentioned that India and China is having problem in the three area, and the first area we mentioned here like this western part, here this Askai Chin, we mentioned this part. Then we mentioned about they have a problem here related to means Sikkim. Mhm. The area near Sikkim they are having problem, and one more area they are having problem with the old Nepal, or presently known as Arunachal Pradesh. Clear? So these are the three areas where China is having problem. We had a bitter relation with them just because of war of 1962. Then we mentioned about the change in relationship after Rajiv Gandhi became the prime minister and he visited China, and we started economic relation with them. And right now condition is that India replaced USA, and China is one of the important trading partner of India. Along with that, with the China, we mentioned that we have a trade deficit and China is having trade surplus, because we mentioned that if we are exporting a 10 rupees thing to the China, we are importing a 1,000 rupees things from China. Clear? How China did it and all, we all discussed in the last lecture. Now we are moving towards a new topic, that is Indo-Nepal. Yes, Vivek, good morning. So here the Nepal. Nepal, everybody knew about one thing, that is Chaukidar. Yes, Nepal is very well known for Chaukidars. But along with that, there are many more things related to the Nepal as well. Means most of us are having the same thing. Means Gorkha, a very famous statement by our Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, that if somebody is saying that he is not having any fear, then either that person is lying or that person is Gorkha. Clear? So that's why this is a suggestive that how Gorkhas are fearless, and you know that Gorkha regiment is there in Indian Army. Clear? So we know these things related to Nepal, but in UPSC they are not going to ask this thing. In UPSC we have to deal all the aspects, socio, politico, economic, cultural aspect, and the foreign policy is designed according to that. Clear? And you know that one thing, all of you, that India and Nepal border is open. You can enter into Nepal as well as Nepalis can enter into Nepal. How it is so? It is not with the other countries. It is not with the Pakistan. Just try to go and to Pakistan. Nowadays there are many people are going to call you, go to Pakistan, go to Pakistan. Is it easy to go to Pakistan? Like go to Nepal? Because Nepal borders are open, but why it is so? Why not the Pakistani border? Why not the Afghanistani border? Why not the border with the Myanmar? They all are sealed. So we have to know the background of it, how it happened. So this is Nepal. As we know that we share the five Indian states share border with the Nepal. The very famous is basically UP, Bihar. Yes, UP and Bihar share the border with that. Along with that, Sikkim shares the border. Here, Uttarakhand, and and yes, this is the question to you. And and common sense. Yes, hello, exam educator. Hello, hello. Try to write your name so that I will get to know. Okay, you're this person. Yes, this question to all of you. Yes, Satyajit, Preeti, Vivek said West Bengal. Really? Preeti said West Bengal. Really? Really? West Bengal? Or Himachal Pradesh? Just imagine Himachal Pradesh is so close to this area. All are smart. Very good. Very, very good. Yes, the next state is West Bengal. And one more thing. This type of question can we ask in the prelims examination. And recent trend is like this. They used to ask this shares the border and all. Clear? Yes, exactly. West Bengal is there. But whenever we think about the West Bengal, most of the student neglected this. So that's why I asked. You know that it's your thing in mind that okay, Himalayan state is there. Himalayan state is there. So maybe if UP is already connected. Bihar is already connected. Okay. Then Sikkim, of course, Himalaya state is there, so Sikkim is connected. Uttarakhand, yes, maybe, because we know that Uttarakhand. And if the option, yes, Kailash, that's it, that's good. So that's the option is there. Either they give you what we can say, the option as Himachal Pradesh or Jammu and Kashmir, or they can give the option of Assam. But this option is quietly neglected because in our mind, when you are solving the paper, in our mind, this is always option Bengal means Kolkata, means Bengal is near to Bay of Bengal. That means it is far away from Himalaya. But as some of you knew about Darjeeling, yes, Darjeeling, it is in West Bengal only. So please keep in mind. Good, very good. I'm really happy and I'm really proud of you that you know this thing, you know this fact very well. Okay, good. So Indian states, 5 states are connected with each other. Okay. Next important thing related to the Nepal is that we have to find out the connection with the Nepal. Means what's the India's connection with the Nepal? In which context we are connected with the Nepal? First, geographical connection. How how geographical connections are there with the Nepal? How? Yes, exactly, Preeti. Bay of Bengal, sea. Okay. How Nepal is connected with India? Means we have a geographical connection. Yes, everyone, come on. Himalaya. Okay. Himalaya and and everybody is saying the Himalayas only. Very good. What about other aspects? Don't you think so? Rivers are also part of geography. There are many rivers which are flowing from Nepal to India. Everybody is saying Himalaya. Yes, of course, Himalaya is there. Himalaya is there. It's okay. But don't you think so? Real rivers are coming from Himalaya to India. Yes, exactly. This is also the connectivity with the Nepal. Himalaya is one of the things. Then rivers are another thing. Along with that, as the presence of Himalaya is there, do you really think so? Climbing Himalaya is as easy as climbing a staircase? Preeti said it acts as a buffer. Himalaya acts as a buffer. So, do you really think so? Climbing a Himalaya is just like a climbing a staircase? No, not at all. Clear? So, because of this Himalaya, since ancient time, Nepalis are having connection with the India more than with China. Yes, Ashwini, it's tough. It's tough. It's Himalaya. We are not in a position to climb a staircase. If anything is on fourth floor, our like is lift नहीं है. So it's our common question. Lift नहीं है. So because of this Himalaya, it's not possible, or it's difficult to cross Himalaya. So Nepali people are having good relation with the India because of the geographical reason. The proximity is near to India as compared to China. And river, you know that most of the cultures in the world are developed on the banks of rivers. Clear? So we have a connectivity with Nepal in that manner. Geographical manners are important. Clear? The next thing, historical. Really, if it is really, how? And those who join me right now, first time, so I want to tell you one thing, that please feel free to ask the question, and please be fearless while answering the questions. Why it is so? Because I am not here to judge you. It's your right to express your views, clear? And I want you to express yourself here. If you are going to do the mistake here, it's okay, but do not repeat the mistake while writing mains or prelims or in your interview. Clear? So this is the what we can say a testing ground for you, and we are not here to judge you. Clear? So please feel free and answer so that we can interconnect with you. And if you don't know anything, or if you don't understand it, just ask me. I'm going to explain that topic again. And my questions are not like yes and no type question. I don't like yes and no. If answer is yes, then why? If answer is no, then why? Because UPSC don't ask you the question in yes no type. You should know the reason. Okay? Okay. And one more thing I just want to let you know, it is not a one-way communication. Yes, everyone? Are you there? Yes, everyone? The geographical reason is clear. Now I'm asking historical reason. Maybe there is a time lag between what I'm saying and what you are receiving. It's just because of network connectivity and all. I'm extremely sorry for that. Ashwini said some part of Nepal is a part of Awadh. Yes. Akash said yes. Okay. So my question is to you. Historical reason. So if it is historical reason, really, and if it is, please tell me how. How Nepal connected with India? In which sense? In which sense? Yes, I'm expecting answer from all of you. please. Yes, everyone. Okay, no answer from all of you. Okay, let me explain. Maybe the time lag is more, so because of that reason, we are not going to connect with each other very well. Okay, so really, the historical reason, of course, there are many reasons, though historically, how it is so. Yes, exactly, Ashwini. The historically Buddhism as Lumbini is considered as a birthplace of Buddha and it is in Nepal. So we have a connectivity then. Our mythological books also mentioned, like mythological books, Ramayana, in that they mention the Janakpuri is there in Nepal. So we have a connection with them. Clear? Along with that, along with that, along with that, as some of the part of Nepal, some of the part of Nepal was part of India. Clear? Along with that, along with that, Indians having matrimonial relation with them. Indians are having matrimonial relations with them. Yes. So this is the historical thing. We have a connection with the Nepal. Okay. Next thing, that is religious. Religious. As India is having these two religions, Hindus and Buddhist. As Buddhist means Lumbini is the birthplace of Buddha, so religious connection is there, and around 83% of Nepali population belongs to Hindu religion. So that's why religious connectivity with them. Along with that, recently I mentioned the matrimonial relations just because of the same religion is there. Clear? That is religious connection with them. Economic connection. Yes, Akash said Mithila. Yes, Mithila, Maithili. जो मैथिली भाषा बोली जाती है, it is very common in Nepal as well as in Bihar. Exactly, exactly. Economic connection. Economic connection. You know that Nepali migrated to India. Nepalis migrated to India in search of jobs, in search of employment. That is one economic connection with them. Yes, we provided them job. Clear. Yes, exactly. Ashwini said that India gave access mhm, access to Kolkata port. Yes, India gave access to the Kolkata port. That is port access is given. That is economic contact. Along with that, India is largest trading partner. Yes. So Nepalis are depend means most of the Nepalis wants to perform or wants to grab the good opportunities. So for the best opportunity, they are coming to India, and India is providing employment to them. Along with that, India is the largest trading partner. Along with that, India gave access to the port as Nepal is a landlocked country and they want if they want to trade with the world, they don't have a port. So India gave access to them. That is also the one of the aspect of it. Clear? Even one more economic aspect. These all we mention from the Nepal's point of view. From India's point of view, economic aspect, India means till recent, India was a sole supplier of energy, sole supplier of crude oil. Clear? In recent times, yes, Kolkata, we mentioned in recent times that the relation with Nepal is having some ups and downs, but India was supplying the crude oil to Nepal. Clear? So these are the economic ties or connection with the Nepal. Clear? And tourism industry is also one of the aspect of it. Yes, am I right or wrong? Next important thing that is military relations with the Nepal. These are having two aspects. First aspect is basically Indian Army, and we have Gorkha regiment. We have Gorkha regiment. Second one is Nepali army. Clear? Yes, yes, Ashwin. Gorkha regiment and Nepali army. These military aspect is having two. And some of you recently, I think one mad person was there. He used to say it loudly in front of the national media, and that person was blaming that Nepali army is this and that and falana dhimkana. It was like blaming, but that person doesn't realize is that we had a cordial relation with them, and along with that, the Nepali army, their generals are honorary generals in Indian army. Yes, Nepali generals are considered as honorary generals in Indian army. Along with that, Indian army train means provide them training as well. Clear? So we are having very close ties with the Nepal since centuries. Clear? So that is a military connection with India. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the lecture, the statement given by Sam Manekshaw. Sam Manekshaw was basically from Gorkha regiment. Clear? So these are the military type and linguistic. This connection is there with the Nepal. How? Just Akash mentioned Maithili is a language which we speak in Bihar as well as in Nepal. Along with that, Bhojpuri, Nepali. If you are having confusion or if you are having prejudice that Nepali is speaking only in Nepal, so it is not at all the case. In the bordering area, these languages are spoken by natives. Akash said that Ram was Nepali. I don't know. Sorry. I really don't know whether Ram was Nepali or Ram was Bengali. I can't comment on it. Next, eighth schedule, we have Nepali language. Yes, exactly. That's like a student who studies well the political section. Yes, we have the Nepali in the eighth schedule of the constitution. Exactly. So these all, that is geographical, historical, religious, economic, military, linguistic connections made India-Nepal relations as a special one. And because of that reason, India never equate Nepal with the other countries. Means we always have a preferential treatment given to Nepal. Means it's just like that, the difference between friend and best friend. Means if any person is your best friend, then that person is going to definitely is going to humiliate you in front of others. But if it is a friend, they always follow the sophisticated manner. Joke. But here Nepal, if we considered Indo-Nepal, and at the same time if we considered Indo-China, do you really think so that we are giving the same treatment to both? Same treatment? No. Clear? So because of this geographical, historical, religious, economic, military and linguistic factor, India was having a special or is having a special relation with the Nepal. Clear up to this point? Everyone clear? It's okay. It's okay. I don't know who claimed what and all. I'm not interested in that. Okay. So the next thing we're going to discuss, that is history of Nepal's political development. History of Nepal's political development. What exactly the history? As till recent, Nepal was having monarchy. Till recent, Nepal was having monarchy, and some of you, those who have history optional, they knew one thing, and that is related with that in 1815, British signed a treaty with Nepal, that is Treaty of Sigloy. Yes, in 1815 we signed the Treaty of Sigloy with Nepal. That is British India signed Treaty of Sigloy with them, and because of that reason, British takes some part of Nepal, and basically Darjeeling is one of them. Clear? So it was the case. Now we are going to discuss the political development in Nepal. So here in 1846, Ranas established their control. Means Rana, who were they? They were the prime minister, and this prime minister is having hereditary tinge. They are having hereditary tinge. Means basically one family is going to act as a prime minister. If I want to give the historical example, then very best example is Peshwas in Maratha history. That was basically office. Peshwa was basically office, but later on it became a hereditary thing. Clear? So what happened here? The Ranas, Ranas established their control. So basically, Rana are becoming de facto ruler. Ranas became de facto ruler, and king is de jure. Clear? So this thing was continued from 1846, okay, till 1952. So what happened here? In 1951, there was a revolt against this Rana rule. There was a revolt by the common people against the Rana rule. Common, or we can say the elite as well. Revolt from the people, and that ended the Rana's rule. And but but at the same time, that revolt was against the Ranas, not against the monarchy. So monarchy continued to rule after that. And with the end of Rana's rule, there was a beginning of democracy in Nepal, and Nepalese Congress lead that. Clear? Beginning of a democratic rule, beginning of democratic rule, and Nepali Congress ruled that. But monarchy, after a long time, they gets the opportunity. Monarchy, after a long time, they gets the opportunity to hold the control, and this leads to conflict between Nepali Congress and them, with them. Because Nepali Congress was basically a democratic party and monarchy was basically the autocratic, and this conflict between monarchy and Nepali Congress was continued from 1951 to 1959. And finally, monarchy abolished the parliament, abolished the democratic system, and it paved way to panchayat system. Paves way to panchayat system. What exactly this panchayat system? Panchayat system was basically an idea of monarchy to establish absolute control. Though the word panchayat is considered as a people to people participation and all, it was not at all the case. Clear? What panchayat system was there? Panchayat system was basically establishing of the absolute control over the system. Clear? And monarchy wants to control that thing. So they launched this panchayat system, and this panchayat system was working since 1959 till 1989. Do you really think so that people are happy with this? Yes, people are happy with this panchayati system. Of course not, because democracy, parliament is a form of democracy, and panchayati is not exactly like democracy. So there was an unrest among the people, but monarchy was having absolute power, so they suppressed the sentiment. But but always remember the ideas. Always remember the ideas cannot be controlled for long time. They are going to break the chains. Clear? They are going to break the chain, and it happened that the first Chanandolan, the word is first Chanandolan, this is basically mass movement launched in 1919, and which forces which forces to end the absolute monarchy, which end the absolute monarchy. First Jan Andolan leads to end of absolute monarchy and again beginning of democracy. One very famous person, and he is well-known person in India, that is Koirala. Yes, he became the Prime Minister of Nepal and he belongs to Nepali Congress. Yes, he became the Prime Minister and the beginning of democracy. But but this is not just the end. This is not the end, that establishment of democracy. No, monarchy was still there. But democracy means basically we are talking about the constitutional monarchy in Nepal. Constitutional monarchy in Nepal. But at the same time, there were civil unrest were going on. And why it is so? Because other political views also present there. I'm talking about the other political views means the views of communist, views of Maoist. Yes, communists were there, Maoists were there, and these all were against monarchy because their idea was very clear. This is the age old idea. Now we have to change it. Clear? So they were against that. And the civil unrest was continued in Nepal for a long time. And there was a continuous fighting between the Maoist and Nepali army. Means it is a kind of civil war. It is a kind of civil war continued in Nepal for a long time. So this war or this conflict ended in the form of 2005 second Chanandolan, and that led by Maoist. Second Chanandolan that led by Maoist, and the resultant of that in 2006 there was a peace accord signed. In 2006 there was a peace accord signed between Maoist and Nepali Congress. As Nepali Congress was basically the ruling political party at that time, they formed the government, and this peace accord was basically between Nepali Congress and the Maoist, and which brought Maoist into mainstream politics. Because till 2006 means 2005, Maoist are considered as insurgents. In short, insurgent means in Indian context we used to follow the word Nakshali. In Indian context we used to follow the word Nakshali because of the Nakshal Bari. Clear? So this accord, peace accord, brought Nepali Congress and Maoists close to each other, and because of that reason it gave access to Maoists to enter into mainstream politics. So after that election takes place, after election the formation of Constituent Assembly. And what's the aim of this Constituent Assembly? Of course, to draft the constitution. But you know that some of you quite aware of this situation. Drafting constitution is not an easy task, and in the country which is having multiple stakeholders, multi-ethnicity. If you are having multiple stakeholder, multiple ethnicity, multi-linguistic groups, as the problem with all of us, that we consider writing a constitution is a easy task. Yes, India accomplished that task. How many times it required? 2 years, 11 months, 18 days. And are like, yeah, anybody can write the constitution in 18 days, in 3 years. Writing Indian constitution was not a simple task. It is like a gigantic task, historical thing, and we achieved that within 3 years. And how it is possible? Because of the visionary leaders of that time. Just imagine a Nepal, a small country as compared to India, and they faced lots of problems while drafting the constitution, and we finished that within 3 years. So that's why it considered, because of the visionary leadership. So always remember, drafting a constitution in multiple stakeholder country or multi-ethnicity, multi-religious or multi-linguistic group, it's very difficult because you have to take care of all. You should not hurt any interest of that. So while drafting the constitution, there were several views, or we can say mention the divergent views were there. Yes, divergent views were there, and because of that divergent views, no consensus. Because of the divergent views, no consensus, and that's why dissolution of first extension of Constituent Assembly, then after extension also they were not in a position to draft the constitution, and that leads to dissolution of Constituent Assembly. Again election takes place. So basically after this, after the election, after that there was a period of political instability. Some of you quite aware of this term, that Maoist leader, that Prachand. Prachand became prime minister. Then he left the office. Then Nepali Congress became the leader. Then Nepali Congress left the office. Then communist. Then communist led the government. Then again Maoist led the movement. And again now communists are ruling. O.P. Sharma, right now the prime minister, he belongs to the Communist Party. So don't you think so? It is a period of political instability because within a short interval of time, changing the government, and with the change of the government, change in the attitude of the government towards any particular country, towards the policy making. That is the case. Yeah, so that was a period of instability after that. So finally they drafted the constitution, they completed the task, and new constitution was enacted. And with the enactment of new constitution, there was a huge opposition from Mahadeshis. As Nepal, if we consider the Nepal is divided into two parts. One is basically the people is living in Pahad, known as Pahadi, and Tarain. What is Tarain? You know the geographical term. So those who are living in mountains, they are known as Pahadis. Those who are living in Tarain, and this Mahadeshis are living in Tarain. They are having more affiliation. These Tarain people are having more affiliation towards India. Clear? And Mahadeshis have shared their border with Bihar. Clear? So what they said that with the new constitution and new system of electoral politics, you are going to deny our right. You are going to deny our rights. So they opposed that, and somehow, while opposing them, they started economic blockade. And that blockade was lasted for 6 months. And where they laid that? They laid the blockade here on Indo-Nepal border. Nothing. And somehow India also supported that, and this economic blockade is considered as a blunder. It's considered as a blunder. It's considered as a worst decision. And how it is so? This blockade was for 6 months, and as I mentioned, Nepal was completely dependent on India for crude oil. Nepal, as we mentioned, India is the largest trading for Nepal, and now because of this complete economic blockade, there was a scarcity of essential things, and this provided the opportunity for China. And China supported Nepal with all the means. So you can imagine a country which is totally dependent on India. We are having friendly relation with them, and now that country was under the influence of China. And do you really think so? India and China is having friendly relations? Do you think so that China is not going to use Nepal against India? Clear? So basically, we lost the opportunity, we lost a friend, and that's why in Indian foreign policy, the economic blockade to the Nepal is considered as a blunder. Clear, everyone? Okay. Next, this is an important, what we can say, a bedrock of Indo-Nepal friendship. This event is a bedrock of our relation, that is a friendship treaty. Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Economic blockade was a golden opportunity for China and China utilized, exploited it. So we want to discuss the Indo-Nepal relation with help of a treaty signed in 1950s, and that's why, as I said in the beginning of lecture, we don't want a visa to travel there. Anybody can come here and there and all. Why it is so? It is because of this treaty, that is Indo-Nepal Friendship Treaty of 1950. What exactly this treaty? This treaty gives a national treatment to Nepali people. Means whatever the treatment we are going to provide to you, me and others, the same type of treatment we are going to provide to Nepali. Means like a citizen. Nepalis, we are going to give the treatment to the Nepalis like Indian citizen. Like there are some terms and conditions, but as compared to any other country, whatever we provided to Nepal is more than requirement. Clear? So national treatment, that is treatment of equality, we provided them. So if we consider them like citizen, that means they can travel to India anywhere, any place. So the borders are open. Indo-Nepal border are open. Nepalis and Indian can come and go anywhere, anytime. And when they want to come, they do not require visa. Yes, they do not require visa. Visa free travel in India. Next thing was there in that agreement that Nepal could consult India in designing the foreign policy. Consult, the word is consult. It is not a compulsory thing. Nepal could consult India while designing the foreign policy. And why it is so? Because at that time in the 1915, Nepal was not that much powerful country, but India was. So that's why Nepal was having fear from China, and that's why they said that whatever the foreign policy is there, we are going to discuss with it. And you know that earlier the influence of British India as well over the Nepal and Nepal's foreign policy. Okay, so these are the four important aspect of it. First, national treatment to the Nepalese people, open border, visa-free travel, and to consult Nepal to consult India while designing foreign policy. Do you know that Nepalis can serve Indian civil services? Can Nepalis serve in Indian civil services? Whether they will become Indian civil servants? Yes, what do you think? What do you think? Yes, are you there? Can you hear me? Yes, Nepali can serve Indian civil services other than IAS and IPS. Other than this, Nepalis can serve as a IRS and etc. Just go through your notification, you will get to know that. And we already mentioned that Nepalis can enter into Indian Army. Clear? Okay. So actually the problem with me that whatever the video is going on my mobile, it's lagging, and your reply is so fast, so I don't know what to do. So whenever I'm going to ask the question, please reply promptly so that I will get to know, okay, you are there. Okay, so it is the case. Now, in recent times, there is a criticism. In recent times, there is a criticism. And what's this criticism? As Nepali said that this treaty was signed by Ranas, because Ranas were the prime minister at that time and they signed the treaty. So it is not applicable to us. And thus this treaty, the second thing is that this treaty is give undue advantage to India rather than Nepal. In other words, this treaty provided the opportunity to India to exploit Nepal. Really? Really? Do you really think so that do you really think so that India, this treaty, Nepal, Indo-Nepal Friendship Treaty, provided India undue advantage to exploit Nepal? Really? Yes, please tell me whether do you really think so? Yes, Vivek, Ashwini, Akash, Preeti, Sankalpa, Kumar. Yes, Kumar Shanu. What a name. Good morning, Kailash. Yes, you all are here. Satyajit. Yes, please let me know. Ashwini said no, so. Not so. But maybe possible. Yes, what about others? What about others? Do you really think so that India exploited Nepal with help of this treaty? Means, in other words, can we say that it's a more advantageous to India than Nepal? No reply? Is that so difficult question I ask? Yes, everyone. Is that so difficult? Preeti said no, it was for helping Nepalis and its development. Okay. What about others? So, basically, this is a misconception from Nepali side. And why it is so? Because several factors responsible for it. And one factor is basically the big brother approach of India. The big brother approach of India that leads to misconceptions. That leads to misconception. How it is so? Just let me clarify this. Whether India is taking undue advantage or whether this treaty is more favor of India than Nepal. Really? So, Nepali, they can come to India for jobs. They can serve Indian army. They can serve Indian civil services. Clear? India gave access to the port, Kolkata port. Yes, India is the largest trade partner. Clear? India gives preferential treatment, but it doesn't not track. It does not that at par with. Do you really think so that a country, Nepal is basically India is providing that job, basically migration from Nepal to India. Indian army provided them job. Indian civil services provided them job. Along with that, Indian army trained the Nepalese army. We are giving access to them. So don't you think so? It is more advantageous for Nepal than India. Don't you think so? It is more advantageous to Nepal than India. Have you ever seen in your life? Have you ever seen any person going to Nepal for job? Means any Indian person is going to Nepal for job. Have you ever seen, though it is a government servant or anything, that's okay. But just like you, me, and all, in search of job, have you ever, do you want the jobs in the government service in Nepal? Do you want to serve Nepali army? Have you ever seen that Indians are searching job in Nepal? No. Clear? So that is the case that India-Nepal Friendship Treaty is giving more weightage to Nepal than India. But as I mentioned earlier, there were so many misconceptions among the Nepalis, and in recent time, this misconception is more pronounced. This undue advantage, this misconception is more pronounced because of Indian media. Example, when there was an earthquake in Nepal, when there was an earthquake in Nepal, at that time Indian media portrayed Nepal as bigger and India as a rich person who donates their thing. Nepal didn't ask. It's our responsibility of neighbor. That's why we offered that. But misinterpretation or mispresentation of India's help to Nepal because of the media, and you know that because of that reason, Nepali government banned them. Clear? So it is basically advantageous thing for them for Nepal, but somehow they considered it's giving undue advantage to India. This is the one case. So let me ask you one more thing. If it is so, if it is so disadvantageous for Nepal, then why do not they end this treaty? Why not? Why not they ended the friendship treaty with India? Because the misconceptions are there. But at the same time, they knew one thing, that such time of preferential treatment, no one is going to give or provide to Nepal. And forget about China. China is not going to provide this. China is going to provide the preferential treatment because they want to take advantage of it. They want to break the ties of Nepal and India. Clear? Next thing, border issues. India and Nepal are having border issues. There are three problems basically related to the border. First is Kalapani. First is Kalapani. This is the area which is marked by Mahakali River. In 1962, India occupied that. This is a 35-kilometer area, and recently it creates a controversy. Recently also means I think so. A month ago, this issue was there, and Nepal shows this area Kala Pani into their territory. This is a recent issue. Actually, this area is belongs to India from 1962. Clear? This is the one reason. Another area is Susta area. The name is the Susta area, and it is due to the change of course of Gandak River. In Nepal, it is known as Narayan. The same river, Gandak River, is known as Narayan, and you know that. You know that. As sometimes river flows from this side, other way they are going to flow from this side. Clear? So change of course, and because of the change of course, this Susta area became the part of India, and that's why it creates a problem between Nepal and India. Okay, Susta, Alapani. And third thing, that is open border is always a cause of concern for India, because in recent times, means since 1991 onwards, Pakistan and Bangladeshi terrorists uses Nepal as a fertile ground for them, because it's easy for them to travel from their area to Nepal, and from Nepal they can infiltrate to India. So this is the cause of concern for India. This is the cause of concern for India. So that's why, because of this open border, it poses to terrorist infiltration in country, illegal movements of the criminal from India to Nepal or Nepal to India, and narcotics, that is drugs related everything, is also a main concern in this. Clear? Clear this thing? Why infiltration problem is there? Because of the terrorist activities. As Pakistan and Bangladesh, are they're easy for them to transfer a person from their country to Nepal and Nepal to India. Okay. Next thing is, that is hydro diplomacy. Hydro diplomacy. As you know that Nepal, Himalaya is there. Most of the rivers are flowing from Himalaya. And India wants to tap this potential. To Nepal is not in a position to take the advantage of this hydro thing. Why it is so? Because as compared to India, Nepal is economically weak. To build the dam, it required huge amount of investment, and they are not in that position. So India wants to help them. So right now, if we consider the Nepal is having capacity to produce 45,000, around 45,000 kilowatt electricity, but only fractional is used. And why it is so? I told you the reason. First is economic aspect. India offered Nepal to build the same model like Bhutan. In the Bhutan, what India is going to do? India build their dam, and it is basically that India is going to purchase the energy from Bhutan, but at the low rate, because we are going to develop that and all. So we offered them that, but Nepal is not keen to develop it because of the geographical reasons. Yes, Rajkumar, good afternoon. Please tell me. Geographical reason? What kind of geographical reasons are there? Yes. What do you think? What type of geographical reasons are there? Yes, everyone, fast. Please tell me. What do you think? What type of geographical reasons are present, and because of that, Nepal opposes the mega project? Yes, everyone. Fast. Fast reply. Yes. What kind of geographical reason you're thinking? No answer? Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. First is basically Nepal, that Himalaya. Himalaya is basically prone to earthquake. Himalaya is prone to earthquake, that is seismic activities are there in Himalaya. So that's why building a mega dam is a dangerous thing for them. That is one of the reasons. Second, if the dams are going to build there, then there will be problem in terrain area. The problem in terrain area, that is water scarcity, may be there. This is the second problem. And third problem, when the gates of dams open, then that leads to the floods. Clear? So these are the three geographical reasons because of that Nepal opposes mega project. First is earthquake zone, seismic zone is there, Himalaya. Second, terrain area is there, and terrain area is totally dependent of the water from the upstream. And third, basically, that if the dam is constructed and if the dam full, when you open the gate, that leads to the flood into terrain area. Clear? And that leads to the vast devastation. Okay, so these are the reasons. Because of that, Nepal is not going to take lead into that. Okay. So so that's all for today's lecture. We are going to discuss the Indo-Nepal part 2. Indo-Nepal part 2 after Diwali. After Diwali, we are going to discuss that. Yes, and and those who are new here, I just want to tell you right now, at 12:30 p.m. means just 15 or 10 minutes later, there is a special session or special lecture, whatever it may be called in that our platform. Special session or special lecture is there, and that is going to deal about the industrial revolution. Industrial revolution. Okay, so we are going to meet at 12:30, but not on this platform, but on the platform of app. If you are having app, just use it, or you can log in through the website as well. Okay, so that's all for this lecture. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Have a good day. Great day.